Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings, have a look at the latest thunderstorm and rain warnings that we do have issued over the weekend, as it could be really quite lively for much of southern England and South Wales. We'll have a look at the UKV, looking at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. I said very thundery over this weekend, but turning more generally unsettled into next week. As it does turn more unsettled, it's also turning quite a bit cooler, from summery temperatures we've had over the past few days to proper autumnal temperatures come the middle of next week. We'll also look at the Rome run, very high resolution run over the next couple of days, again looking at the risk of those storms. And then to end the video, we'll have a look at the Longrange charts. Said it's turning much more unsettled into next week and into the following weekend. We could have north or northwesterly winds once again, potentially bringing another cold blast after we saw one a week or so ago, potentially seeing another one next week. And again, does bring the risk of some really cold temperatures, potentially quite a harsh wind chill, and even the risk of a bit of frost again. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, we have had another generally dry and warm day, but we have started to see those thunderstorms breaking out across southern England and into Wales. Now, you can see at the moment we've got remnants of those storms through parts of Wales and just towards the Bristol Channel there. Now, they are starting to clear away, but they were much more widespread and a lot more lively earlier. And it's through this stretch, just to the south of London, up through towards Gloucester, Newport, Bristol, Cardiff, this region here, and then into central and southern Wales. It's this track these storms have taken, and they have dumped quite a bit of rain in those areas. Now, as I said, today it's been fairly isolated. That was the risk. But over the next couple of days, it's going to become more intense, more severe, and more widespread, importantly. So many areas are going to see quite a lot of torrential rain. Potentially Sunday could be a really quite wet day for many. Now, to put on the temperatures, recording this just before 10 p.m. Still very warm outside. We've not got rid of that warm air mass. All we're seeing is a small trough drifting up from the south that's going to bring that instability and spark off those storms. Eventually, as I said, into early next week, we do start to see those fresh air masses move in. So this weekend still be warm in places, but just not quite as widespread because of the cloud and rain holding those temperatures down in places. Now, I do want to look at the past 24-hour precipitation, because it gives us a very good indication of where we've seen the thunderstorms through today. Look at this line of green and yellow starting down in the far southeast corner, just off the coast there, toward in parts of southern Kent there, drifting up past Guildford, Reading, just to the south of Oxford, through Cheltenham, up towards Gloucester, Hereford, and then slowly petering out through this evening. This line is where those thunderstorms did move. Again, pretty much slap bang where we've had that warning. And again, to the north of it, not seen much. To the south of it, have seen some lighter rain, but nothing too torrential. And you can see the very isolated but severe nature of these storms. In these yellow regions, we've seen a couple of inches of rainfall. Literally 10 miles to the north, have seen absolutely nothing. Again, just emphasising how isolated this torrential rain can be. I don't think over the next few days it's going to be too. I think it's going to be much more widespread. But again, this is why it's so difficult to forecast these storms sometimes, because very small differences in positioning can be the difference between absolute downpours and absolutely nothing. Now, if you go over to the UKV, you can see we've got this warning issued for the rest of the evening. Expires at 10 p.m. and this other warning expires at 10 p.m. as well. So not really going on for too much longer, but these are the areas we've had a few thunderstorms later on today. But we've got further warnings, one into Saturday. This is for pretty much the whole 24 hours of Saturday from 1 a.m. until midnight, covering much of Western England, Southwest England, and pretty much all of Wales. Whilst some places will remain dry, thunderstorms and heavy showers could cause some disruption on Saturday in a few places. Do think even further eastwards, there is the risk as well. You can see we're looking at 20 to 40 millimetres in less than an hour in a few spots, 50 to 70 metres in a few locations. And again, the normal hazards, hail, frequent lightning, and potentially some very strong winds as well. And the potential for intense storms is especially during the afternoon across parts of the Midlands, southern England, and East Wales. So slap bang in that warning. Even, as I said, outside of this warning zone, we could see some severe storms as well, just less likely. We'll look at the impact matrix, medium impact, very low likelihood, a traditional scattered thunderstorm warning. Now into Sunday, we do have a rain warning for a very similar area, but slightly further eastwards as well, but a very similar area. And again, for the full 24 hours of Sunday, areas of heavy rain bring the potential for disruption on Sunday. Showers and thunderstorms are expected to merge into broader areas of rain. So the main risk is still for torrential rain, but there will still be embedded thunderstorms within it. So the thunderstorms aren't going anywhere. It's just accompanied by more widespread precipitation, meaning the main impact on Sunday will be from the rainfall, but still there is the real possibility, and quite likely, we're going to see lightning, hail, strong winds, etc. You can see 30 to 50 millimetres in less than 6 hours, potentially 60 to 80 millimetres in 12 to 24. And again, southwest England looks likely to see some heavy rain during the early hours of Sunday morning, breaking into slow-moving, heavy, and in places thundery showers during the daytime. Meanwhile, the areas of heavy rain are likely to continue to push northwards and westwards, becoming slow-moving across northern and possibly eastern reaches of the warning during the rest of Sunday. So the rainfall is going to move up from the south and slowly disperse as it heads further northwards. We're looking at medium impacts and a low likelihood, so there's a possibility of this seeing even an amber warning. All we need to do is see one shift in the impact or the likelihood level, and yeah, could be an amber warning in force. From the looks of the latest runs, I don't think it is worthy of amber warning, but if we do see a bit of an upgrade overnight, and if the thunderstorms through Saturday are really quite severe, then we could see that impact go up just because of the accumulation of rainfall over the past few days. Again, it's one we'll have to keep a close eye on. Now, if you go over to the UKV now and have a look at the precipitation and temperature over the coming days, you can see the thunderstorms decaying away through this evening in the west, and then we start to ship in a few more thunderstorms as we head into Saturday morning. Becoming a bit more widespread around sunrise, nothing too severe, but it's during the afternoon where storms start to really pop off and could become a bit more homegrown, especially towards the northern and western reaches of the warning zone. It's very similar. Scattered thunderstorms could merge into longer periods and longer spells, but it's one of those. It's a nowcast situation. We can see where the most likely region is, and that's where we've got the yellow warning. But again, it's impossible to say how heavy they will be and exactly their positioning. You just see a scattering of thunderstorms through Saturday, could be severe in places. As we head into Sunday, though, the risk becomes a lot more widespread. Start to see heavy thundery showers for the early hours, becoming pretty widespread around sunrise, and then see further spells of heavy thundery rain, slow moving as well, heading northwards. The main risk for parts of the Midlands, North England, will be the heavy torrential rain at times. To the south of that, we could see some intense thunderstorms breaking out, very slow moving as well, kind of rotating on their axis and pivoting around, eventually clearing into the early middle part of next week. And then we see the wind direction shift, and look at all of that rain that is heading in for Wednesday and Thursday, all in from the west-southwest. Again, the jet stream powering up, and it could be a very soggy evening through Wednesday into Thursday, and yeah, not looking great at all. Hopefully, though, it does clear quite quickly. That's the hope, and then it does unlock the door to northerly winds, unfortunately. The only positive about a northerly wind is it's very dry air, so we are likely to see less showers, especially inland, but we could see convective showers still near the coast. If you look at the upper air temperatures, it's warm at the moment, but as we progress into next week, upper air temperatures will slowly drop away, and then as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, you see very cold air just to our north is waiting in the wings to pull in as soon as this low pressure system clears to our east, which is likely to happen through Thursday. Now, if you look at the temperatures now through the next 5 days, you can see into Saturday still could see low to mid-20s potentially, where we avoid the heaviest thunderstorms, so further eastwards across East Anglia, East Midlands perhaps. As we head into Sunday, temperatures still pleasant, maybe high teens, maybe touching 20 degrees, but with more widespread rain and cloud, it's not likely to be as warm. As we head into Monday, temperatures not great, starting to drop away further, low to mid-teens in places, maybe still high teens in the east. And then into Tuesday, again, starting to drop off further and further, mid to high teens, at best, most low teens. And then by Wednesday, maybe touching high teens in the far south, but look, across much northern England, Northern Ireland and Scotland, much, much colder temperatures as we do start to see Arctic air starting to embed its way in. Now, if you look at the aroma runs now, to just look at the thunderstorms over the next few days, you can see the thunderstorms slowly clearing this evening, pretty much bang on where we've seen them today with the heaviest rainfall. And then into Saturday, we do see scattered thunderstorms breaking out, especially during the afternoon there in that West Midlands, Wales sort of quadrant. Again, some rain maybe through the morning into the early afternoon, but the real thundery showers, we see the darker reds and browns developing. That is potentially more towards the late afternoon. And then it's as we head into Sunday, or late Saturday into Sunday, some torrential, thundery rain heading up from the south, turning into a longer spell of rain, but still some darker reds and browns within it. So wouldn't be surprised to see further thunderstorms, embedded thunderstorms, lines of storms developing. Could be exceptionally lively indeed. As we head into Sunday morning, Rome does look a lot more intense than UKV. Again, we'll have another video out tomorrow looking at this in a little bit more detail, as we do have, or we're much closer to the event. But looks very lively indeed. And if we do look at the Cape, you can see pretty high Cape through today. Again, more moderate to high Cape, especially through tomorrow, and the Cape could be high again through Sunday, likely to peak though during the daytime. But you can see even here, overnight, still got moderate amounts of Cape. So yeah, looking pretty lively indeed. We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. As I said, we'll have another update out tomorrow, but yeah, not looking great if you've got any outdoor plans. Now, if you do look at the longer range, you can see it's looking pretty stunning at the moment, but that trough is heading up from the south, and even though it doesn't look too much on the macro scale, at the small scale for southern England and Wales, you can see it's going to be pretty thundery and rainy. Eventually that low dissipates away, and then we see this other low pressure system arrive through Wednesday, and then it slowly clears eastwards through Thursday, and then look at that, unlocks the door to a straight northerly wind, looking very cold indeed for its period of time. Luckily it topples very quickly actually, and for Saturday and Sunday we're under higher pressure. Yes, still probably a chilly air mass, but it does turn drier, and it starts to warm up slightly as we head into the following week. Now into the following week, we do see low pressure trying to come in off the Atlantic, but still a bit of a Euro high, so it drags up southerly winds, so warm air, but it just is a battle between a wetter Atlantic air and drier European air. And by the end of the run, actually, high pressure and warm European air does win out. But if we go back to the start of the run and look at the middle to second half of next week, you can see the -5 isotherm moves in, very cold air, as cold, if not colder, than what we saw a week or so ago. Temperature deviation, about 8 to 10 degrees below average, and the potential equivalent temperature, very cold as well. So yeah, not looking great at all. Do compare to the latest GM, broadly very similar. That trough moving up from the south at the moment, low pressure eventually replacing it. Pretty deep area of low pressure there through Wednesday into Thursday, clears quite quickly into Friday morning, and then we unlock the door to northerly flow, eventually toppling, and we do start to see a bit of high pressure making a return. But as I said, a very cold air mass moves in while that northerly does come in. Again, we're looking at 6 to 10 degrees below average. And then finally, if we finish on the ECMWF, again, that trough heading up from the south, northerly winds are unlocked, looking very cold through Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, eventually toppling, and then we could see another very lively low pressure system there arrive for Monday. Again, other ones not showing it, so we need to keep an eye on that, but that could spin up very quickly. And again, if we run back to Thursday, you can see that very cold air moving in. Said luckily, because it's dry air mass coming in from the north, probably less showers, especially inland, but again, it does look pretty lively still near the coast. And then to finish with the ensembles, still warm over the next couple of days, but very high precipitation coming in the south, and then a big drop off into next week, potentially about 8 to maybe even as high as 10 degrees below average with some of those colder runs as we head into next weekend, or at least later this upcoming week, or next week, sorry. And then we see a recovery into early October, back towards average with moderate precipitation. So not crazy bad, but at the same time, not looking great at all. And then if we look at the latest ECMWF, again, broadly very similar. Again, we'll look at the midnight runners. The midday run hasn't fully come out. Very similar. Again, high precipitation for the foreseeable future. It's just going from more of a warmer pattern to a much colder pattern, then back towards average. Luckily, the colder pattern doesn't look to last more than a day or two, but where it is here, it could be pretty effective and could be very cold for a time. But as I said here, only lasts maybe 2 or 3 days at maximum, and that will be probably further northwards as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. But for the time being, we've got thunderstorms and torrential rain over the next couple of days. Make sure you stay safe out there, and I'll have another update out tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.